Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about 3 modern diseases that can all be cured that's affecting your life today. Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about 3 modern diseases, and what I mean by diseases, things that have come into our life and created disease and created unhealthy patterns of living that we've created as a society and how we can undo those things. I'm sure you've all been touched by these, and I know myself, I've seen so many individuals in my life be affected by these modern diseases. We really need to start healing these things now. So as always, I'm going to begin with a quote, and that quote is, "Zombies which don't think, don't take risks, and don't seek growth in life, but only in a virtual reality." So I'll read that one more time. Zombies which don't think, don't take risks, and don't seek growth in life, but only a virtual reality. So that quote is really directed at the fact that how many times you walk down the street and you see people looking at their cell phones and just this sort of, open mouth, almost drooling. We've really disconnected from this incredible gift of life, and we've created virtual forms, which will never be as good as the real essence. We all know that when you're hugging a loved one, or you're staring into the eyes of someone that you really care about, there's no game, there's nothing can simulate that, and there's no need to simulate these things. Ultimately, as people have tried to sell products, they've tried to productize our life. They've tried to say, well, here's romance in a box, here's sex in a box, here's Viagra, or here's a movie that will create romance. You don't need to go out and find someone, just watch The Notebook 100 times and go to the cinemas and pay for your ticket. So these modern activities and diseases I'll give you these 3 and then we'll break them down. So video games, television, and social media. These are diseases that really do affect us, and I'm going to begin with video games. So video games aren't what they used to be. In the old days, we used to have Pong, which is just a couple of binary digits, sort of floating up and down, and people weren't obsessed with video games. They saw them as modern inventions. They saw them as amazing, but you never had sort of the multi-trillion-dollar industry. And video games, by the way, is a bigger industry than the movie industry, to give you an idea of how rampant video games are. The problem with video games, especially for men, and I want to talk to men directly here because men generally have the problem, is men our reward systems are very easily activated. We're very visual. So we're easy, women would know this, men are very easy to turn on, whereas women are a bit more complex. So video games have taken over almost all masculinity at the moment. I see kids between the age of 15 and 21, rather than going out into the woods and learning masculine skills, they're playing FIFA all day. And the challenge is that these games are so good now, so immersive and so real, that the parts of the male brain which are stimulated by vision, activity, purpose, drive, breaking through barriers, are all being looked after by these video games. And in these video games, you can take a gun and take out Osama bin Laden and save the world. I mean, you're not going to do that in real life. So they're really overstimulating a brain that was never designed to see these things, and is really taking us out of our true essence. In my personal life, I know my brother, who's an absolute, smartest guy you ever meet, just engage with video games. And I watch him play video games, and you see anger and frustration. The funny thing is, if you watch someone playing a video game, they don't always look like they're having a good time. They definitely look like they're focused and they've shut out the world, but they don't look like they're having a good time. And to me, that sounds like a drug addiction. A lot of people who take drugs don't always look like they're having a good time. You see them in the streets, and you see old men drinking out of paper bags. So what are they really doing? They're trying to block out the rest of the world, which is never a way to personal growth. So number 2, what modern disease have we got? Television. So I've got a quote about this one. "I find television very educating. Every time someone turns on the set, I go into the other room and read a book." Groucho Marx. How good's that? So Groucho Marx was obviously having a go at the fact that television is mindless, but activities like reading and art are really, the true essence of human creativity. You have a choice in life. You can either live the life of your dreams, or watch other people live the life of their dreams on a box. Now, it's that stark. You can't watch 8 hours of TV and be the true version of yourself, because what you're really doing is you're not really watching TV, is you're escaping your life. Now, I'm not saying turn off all the TVs. You know, I've tried to do that in my life, but you know, there's a lot of great documentaries, a lot of great content being created. What I'm saying is being selective. And when you're in front of a TV, have a purpose. You know, have it as an educational purpose or a growth purpose, or every once in a while when you just want to watch a horror film, or make it special. That's what TV used to be. TV used to be the family around the television set watching the moon landing. Now it's just watching ads. The third modern disease, social media. So social media is a great tool. For example, I wouldn't be able to speak to you right now without social media. But the next social disease I want to talk to you about is being fueled by it, and that's called the comparative disease. So social media is simply a reflection of how people would like to be seen. Now, the challenge of being how you like to be seen, and Michael Jackson and a lot of celebrities find this, is that once you put on a persona, and a persona is Greek for mask, once you put on that persona, you have to live up to it. And we all know that we're only really getting glimpses into other people's lives on social media, because if we weren't, it seems to me that everyone's buying a new car, going to Bali, having selfies with their partner all the time. And I know these people, and I know that financially that car might have been a bit too much for them. I know that when they're in Bali, they didn't really enjoy it, and I know that relationship isn't perfect and they're really working on it. But the photos would never tell you that. So social media is a great tool to keep in contact with family and friends. But as we start trying to create, once you start trying to create a persona out of it, trying to identify who you are and live up to that image, it will create dis-ease throughout your whole life. Now, what this leads to is comparison disease, which is at the heart of all these things. So I've got a quote on that. You are the creator of your own perceived reality. Don't be a creation of circumstances. Always take full control of your destiny. Steve Redhead. So comparative disease is always saying, well, this person is doing so well, therefore my achievements are lessened. And it's really at the heart of why you can go to impoverished countries and they're having the time of their life and everyone's enjoying themselves, because they're not comparing themselves. I mean, if you both live in a hut, you're not that stressed. But if you live in a hut, your next door neighbour lives in a mansion, that can create stress. So comparative disease, things through social media, watching television, looks like everyone's changing their lives, having an amazing time, and video games where it seems like everything's so easy, really create that comparative disease. So how can you break out of this, and how can you get through personal growth? Well, unfortunately for a lot of people caught in video games, television, and social media, it's so powerful, it requires a personal tragedy, a divorce or a death in the family to snap them out. And that's got to give you an idea of how powerful this stuff is. It's like any drug, it engrosses people. And generally it takes a personal tragedy, the loss of a job, which unfortunately these things can generate, for people to snap out of it. The other way that you can, without that, the other way you can snap people out of it is by having a huge burning desire or a goal, by setting your life alight with a purpose. Because when you have a purpose, for example, when I'm making these videos, I'm not thinking about watching television because my purpose is driving me to do this. And understanding that the truth is that your personal growth and your personal motivation and putting yourself first means that self-respect, which is looking after yourself and not sitting out and vegging in front of the TV or playing games or social media, is really important. So the difference between self-respect, and I only recently learned this, and self-esteem is that self-esteem is how the rest of the world sees you, the esteem that they hold you in. Self-respect is how you see yourself and how you deal with yourself. Self-esteem is worthless. Drop it. Anyone tells you need to improve your self-esteem, give them 2 fingers. Self-esteem is about other people. Just live on self-respect. Live on self-respect. And self-respect is, for example, and I'll give you an example of this. Let's say that you're longing for your ex that you were in a bad relationship with. Now, you know that they see you as an ex, so you don't like that, so therefore you might reach out. Now, you know that's going to create problems. So that's self-esteem, so you're trying to increase your esteem with them. But someone who has self-respect said, I'm not going to reach out to that person. I love myself and they create problems, therefore I respect myself, I'm not going to do that. So self-respect is at the heart you want to do. So how can you make this easier? Well, I'll give you 4 points on how to make this easier. Delete all the data in all your video games. Delete the video games, like delete the personal records and all these sort of things. Sell your TV or video game console, just sell it. And if you can't live without it, you can always buy it again, but try and remove these obstacles from your life. Another way is to have time slots, maximum time slots of 45 minutes to be able to do these activities. And the other way you can do this is you can take a break from social media. Now, when I say take a break from social media, I don't mean missing out on any videos that may be life transforming. What I mean is take a break from commenting, liking, or reviewing, or having the compulsion to pick up your phone when those awkward moments. C.K. Lewis says it really well that, we can't deal with our feelings, that we put a cell phone in front of our face to distract us. These diseases of video games, television, social media, and comparison really, really drain our energy and don't allow us to be our true selves. I'm sure that all of us have been affected by this, and if you are, this needs to be kicked. We need to kick this habit during our 1 year life transformation challenge. Once you've transformed a year from now, you can go back to this stuff, but I don't think you will. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I look forward to it, but until then, goodbye.